Good afternoon, everybody. It's June 28th, 2024 in the afternoon. I hope everybody's doing well. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. Now, I was going to do this last night, but I ended up taking one of those detox baths. And then I got into bed and wanted to get some rest. But this is another Q&A from Quora. Now, this, again, was a year ago. There was a question that was posed, is it possible to be gang-stalked without knowing it? And I respond, yes, it is certainly possible to be stalked by these creeps in this community watch program without knowing or understanding what is happening. Sometimes it takes an individual a couple of years to figure out that they are being watched and stalked and that it's part of a program. So now somebody responds just recently, like yesterday. But before I get to that one, I'm going to read what somebody wrote in response a year ago. And they say, they may also begin placing imposter friends and lovers, quote unquote, into your life to gather intelligence used to destroy you later. Then they dislodge a keystone and send everything in your life becomes crashing down at once. No family, friends, income, home, etc. That's your cue to commit suicide, to unalive yourself. Still alive? Then they set up legal, mental, and physical health, tax, and other traps, including covert death traps and a myriad of sorts. If they fail to unalive you, you see, they at least want you discredited and held in an institution. My experience with this program crosses 3 generations. So you can believe me. There's not a damn thing I can conjure to do anything about my vulnerability or prognosis. They already have you fully encompassed, a slave to their system by the time your awareness kicks in. And I wrote that this happens in our country to intentionally destroy a person is criminal. So somebody responds yesterday, and it was rather astute comment. And they respond as follows. Everyone who is jabbed is a TI, targeted individual. You folks just don't get it. At the turn of the century, the occult unalived everyone. Search for Tartaria, Tartaria, and catacombs. Then they populated the world with occult babies. Search the orphan trains and Cabbage Patch Kids. Oh, I remember those Cabbage Patch dolls, right? That is why these days 80% of folks are in the pagan occult. They control everything, which is why you have a pyramid. And now she's doing some numerology here. Pyramid equals 41, and then you add 4 plus 1 equals 5. And then you have the one eye, and that's reduced to number 33. On the dollar, nearly everyone is in the occult. Gang stalking equals number 50. And gaslighting equals number 59. If you're not in the occult, you are a targeted individual, whether you realize it or not. Do you get it? It's everyone messing with you because you are a good soul, not in the pagan genocidal occult. Wake up. And also, all the folks in these chats are occult. And then they write occult equals 633332 equals 911. Troll equals 92633 equals 23 reduced to 5. And 5 is the curve and angle of the compass. You know, the Freemason compass. That reduces to number 27, and 7 plus 2 equals 9. And the square equals number 23, and 2 plus 3 equals 5. And you all know who that is. Number 59 is helter skelter, also known as genocide, which reduces to number 44. I thought that was a really interesting comment. That they state that everyone who is jabbed is a TI. You folks just don't get it. At the turn of the century, the occult unalived everyone searched for Tartaria and the catacombs. Then they populated the world with occult babies. Search orphan trains and Cabbage Patch Kids. That's why these days 80% of folks are in the pagan occult. And this is why, and I'm just adding this, many targeted people are Christians. And of the ones who are not, many people will complain about having occult-like situations, paranormal-like situations occurring, and that witchcraft is spread on your property or inside your home. That is because these are pagan occults. The Freemasons are known to perform rituals. And actually, it is part of their lodge culture, as stated on the IRS nonprofit website, that the definition of a lodge is that they perform rituals. It doesn't say what kind of rituals, but it's certainly witchcraft. It's certainly occult-like. It's certainly numerology. It's certainly gematria. It's certainly with the use of certain astrological tenets. And not to confuse astrology as being an occult. Astrology is also used by non-occult people. It is used as an educational, spiritual, scientific, and creative tool to better understand the personality. However, the occult tends to bastardize. It bastardizes spiritual tenets and uses science, spirituality, and distorts it to their own liking. And they have been doing this for decades and decades and decades, likely centuries. So, you know, somebody, and a targeted person had commented that she's got a black and white checkered floor in her house. I mean, evidently she liked that when she installed it, not knowing or not realizing that that is very symbolic of the Freemason floors in their lodges. They have black and white checkerboards. Whenever you see the checkerboards, that's Freemasonry. But just because you installed a black and white checkered floor because you liked it doesn't mean that you're a Freemason. Okay? And it's the same goes for astrology, the tarot. These are not occult practices. I mean, if you look back historically, didn't the wise men follow the North Star? And didn't the Native Americans plant according to the moon cycles? And didn't the Mayans, before they had calendars, utilize the stars and the motions of the planets and the lighting in the sky? Like, when it's a new moon, it's completely dark outside. When it's a new moon, the animals outside are totally quiet. When the moon starts increasing in light and turns into a crescent, then animals start to act up. And then, of course, when it's a full moon, you know, the full moon pulls on the waters in the body, waters of the ocean. And this is a fact. Fact. The Manalapan Police Department, at least when I lived there, had on their wall the moon cycles, because they would go out and start ticketing people on the full moon because they knew that people acted nutso on the full moon. Yeah. It's widely known that hospital wards and more babies are born during a full moon. It's true. So anyway, I look forward to your questions and comments down below. Do you feel that everyone who was jabbed is now a targeted individual? Historically, are you aware that at the turn of the century that the occult unalived people? Please, and I haven't researched this. I haven't had time to research Tartaria or the orphan trains. But if any of you smart people out there are familiar with this, you know, some of you are educated in certain areas of life that I'm not. So if you're familiar with this, please leave a comment down below. I also wanted to mention that I've been receiving my mother's mail, and, you know, my mother voted for Donald Trump. So I received in the mail today this I wanted to show you. I thought it was really very interesting and a very good marketing tool. Here. I still stand with you against this corrupt system of justice. And I'll read inside here. It says, I guess this is, he wants you to sign this. Dear President Trump, as a principled patriot American, I never thought I'd see the day when our entire political system became so outrageously corrupt. And I'm sure you didn't either. Your conviction by a kangaroo court in New York City is an all-out attack on the rule of law that red-blooded Americans have fought and died for. I deeply admire your courage. And I join the tens of millions of Americans who will keep standing with you until justice is done. Sincerely. And they want you to sign this and send it in. I wanted to show you, because I've always said, whether you know, all politicians are corrupt to a certain degree, you know. And I'm not going to say who I voted for or will vote for in the future. I may not even vote anymore. I mean, is it going to do me any good? But watching Donald Trump be ridiculed and ostracized and slandered and stuff, it was showing before the world what a targeted person looks like. Of course, he's a very wealthy man. He's a politician. He's a businessman. So he had the ability to hire attorney after attorney. Targeted people don't have that financial ability, but nevertheless, it was clearly demonstrating how targeting works in the USA. And for anybody that hasn't heard, finally Julian Assange is free after 5 years of torture in isolation, in cold cells, in hot cells, in concrete walls, little tiny rooms, tortured for being a journalist. He's free. Yes. I also wanted to mention that I received an email last night, and congratulations, I won't say your name, but a targeted person who subscribed sent me some good news that she actually married, and she married another targeted person. Now, hopefully, you know, I'm going to be positive about this, that it's all going to work out for the best, and that somebody didn't set up something in your life for this to happen. But congratulations. I think that is absolutely wonderful. I also wanted to mention that in the comments section on my berries shrub, that another targeted person or another person says, yes, that this has happened to her. And what they did is they destroyed her entire squash patch overnight, but didn't touch anything else. And this is what they do. They want to make it appear as if it's happening naturally. You know, they want you to think it's happening naturally, but it's not happening naturally. It's carefully designed by the three Masons to make you look crazy. It's a psychological operation. It's a total psychological operation. Okay? And I want to read something else. With our tax dollars, the NIH, National Institute of Health, the feds to electro-shock and exterminate 34 cats. I'm going to show you the picture here. You're not going to like it. I'm not going to show you the video. But this is what it looks like. This is an actual video submitted by WCW. We've got a lot of undercover people going on. This is the White Coat Waste Project. This is what they're doing to cats with your tax dollars. Okay? This is what they do. I'm going to read to you what they did to 34 cats at the NIH with your tax dollars. Okay? Emergency. Lorraine, something is horrible about to happen. Our government is about to electro-shock and exterminate 34 cats. The National Institute of Health, NIH, is poised to renew funding for this cat laboratory, and I obtained this video of the experiments. It's a life or death deadline, 34 lives in 72 hours. Okay? Our team just uncovered NIH's evil experiments at the University of California, Irvine. And I've not been able to get these 34 cats out of my mind ever since. These are the most disturbing videos I have ever seen. Feline faces have been mutilated with scissors. Their nerves were crushed in injury tests. Cats repeatedly shocked for 6 months before deaths. And professors at UC Irvine film the torture sessions, you pieces of crap. Immediate and complete unilateral facial paralysis was observed in all cats received either a crush or transection, reapproximation injury. Eye ointment was routinely applied to protect the cornea, but animals were carefully monitored. Yeah, right. In terminal surgeries. 4 months post-surgery, the FN trunk again was identified. Anemia was for survival surgeries to produce a standardized FN injury. Pre-auricular incision was made to the trunk was identified and skeletonized. The nerve was intentionally damaged by a nerve crush injury. How is this any different than crush animal videos that are banned on the internet? Why? Because scientists and professors are performing the research? It's a 30-second, one-click crush with a serrated hemostat to produce an axonomesis injury, complete transection with scissors. Scissors to crush the nerve endings, and they were not sutured. Facial nerves were exposed. Penetrating electrodes were placed into the nerves. Electrical current pulses were delivered to each stimulating electrode individually. They elicited EMG voltage outputs were recorded for each muscle. All procedures were performed with the approval of UC Irvine Institutional Animal Care and the committee according to the National Institute of Health guidelines. They conduct acute terminal experiments. They use barbiturates sometimes to anesthetize the cats. They create anterior neck incisions were made. The strap muscles were lateralized and the larynx was exposed. A tracheotomy tube was inserted. A needle-like EMG. I can't even read this anymore. I can't even read this anymore. Okay? I'm just going to leave you with this. Contact University, California, Irvine, Write to the NIH, no more funding to torture cats. What's the purpose of this? They can do this with a computer model. They no longer need to experiment on animals. These are sadistic torture experiments with your tax dollars. Anyway, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I'm going to leave you on that note. Please like, comment, share if you feel inclined to do so. Signing off for now.